All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. And in today's episode, we are talking through some ideas around how you can best prepare for 2026. And specifically, what we're talking about is at this time of year in December, a lot of people are kind of just getting through the end of the year, finishing up work, got holidays, everything's kind of getting super hot or super cold depending on where you're in the world. And a lot of people are just focusing on getting through the rest of the year. And when it comes down to training, most people out there are not really feeling the desire to pick up something new. Most people out there are kind of like, you know what? The new year's around the corner, new year, new me. You know what I'm going to do is just get through this period. And then in January, I'm going to start a new routine, or I'm going to start training towards this big adventure, or I'm going to make this change or join a gym or whatever it may be. It's not everyone, and some people do love to use December to kind of get into a routine, whatever it may be. But I know there are many, many, many people out there who are kind of doing a bit of a holding pattern right now. And today, this episode is for you people. Someone who is thinking of starting January, getting into a routine, building up your strength, building up your fitness, starting a training program, or whatever it may be. This is what I would recommend for you in this month of December. And I really do think there is a lot of value of using December just to prepare, to plan, to get yourself in a good spot so you can hit the ground running in January. Because there's so many people I've talked to over the years. I've talked to hikers, mountaineers before that, just people who are looking at general fitness, muscle building, weight loss, all of that. Over the years of training people in this exact situation, quite often people kind of come into this period of the year where they're like, hey, January's around the corner, or January's here. I kind of want to hit the ground running and start off strong. I'm ready to start. I'm ready to get into things, but they're just not organized. Something in the first week when their motivation is super high just gets in the way. Maybe they realize like, oh my gosh, my shoes just do not fit me and they're really uncomfortable. I've got blisters and this sucks. Maybe they realize that, hey, you know what? I don't actually know where to train. I thought I could train at home. It's not really working. Or I thought I could go to this gym or I could not really working. Or maybe I want to work with a trainer and I just can't get any time to chat with them or whatever it may be. And so many times I've seen over the years where these people who are absolutely amped up, absolutely pumped, absolutely ready to roll, they just hit a roadblock in the first week or two and it ends up just delaying them. And it ends up just being a waste of this time of motivation. And some people will kind of have a week or two delay and then get into it, which is great. But a lot of people will just end up never getting off the ground. And it's just this first roadblock which just completely derails things. I've seen it so many times. So what I want to talk about today is all about just getting yourself prepared for the new year. If you're in a situation where you are wanting to hit the ground running in January, there are a few things I really, really, really recommend. First and foremost is your training clothes, something that a lot of people don't consider, but it can make a bit of an impact. Get your training kit together. If you are going to be doing sessions, just think, what clothes are you going to wear? Do they feel comfortable? Have you got them? Do they fit you? Do you have them ready? Now, it may sound silly, like, oh, does it really matter? But I promise you, I have seen people literally just completely fall off the wagon because they either haven't had enough clothes to get through, or they put something on which they haven't worn for ages and it just doesn't fit, or whatever it is. Get your kit together. As I mentioned before, get your shoes sorted as well. If you're going to be wearing shoes when you're training, which you probably will, make sure they're comfortable. Make sure they're not completely brand fresh, spanking new, but you worn them a few times. Get everything together and get that sorted. Sounds silly, but it really does go a long way. Number 2 is in December, I would strongly recommend figuring out your training space. Now, what I mean by this is if you are planning in January, maybe you're going to pick up a program or do some training, whatever it may be, and you're planning at training at home, just use December to figure this out. Sort out the space you're going to train in. Make sure there is enough room. Make sure you're not going to get distracted. Make sure you have the equipment that you need and just make sure it's all organized. Because again, I've heard so many stories from people who are like, yeah, I'm going to train at home first week of January. They do a session, they're like, you know what, I didn't have the equipment I needed. I barely did anything. Or maybe every single second, the dog came in or the kids came in. I just didn't have any privacy or whatever it may be. Figure it out if you're going to be training at home. Alternatively, if you're going to go to a gym and you're like, yeah, maybe in January I'm going to get a gym membership, then in December, go and do a tour. Have a look through the facilities, get yourself familiar, figure out where things are. Even ask to do a free trial and just say, hey, do you mind if I try the gym out and just get a feel for the space? Just make sure it's kind of worth your while. There's a lot of gyms out there which, if you say, hey, actually, I want to sign up for January, and if you do it in December, they'll actually say, you know what, you can have the rest of December for free as long as we start paying in January. And you can end up getting your membership sorted and just get a few sessions in during that time. On top of that, as I'm sure you're well aware, if you're planning on starting a gym membership in January, the first week of January is literally the biggest week of the year for gym memberships. So sometimes when you enter the gym and you try to talk to someone, you may not get the service that you really want because they've just got so much going on. So if you're planning on going to a gym, do it in December. Figure it out. Really good thing. Number 3, have a think about your snacks. Now, eating around your training, making sure you're entering your training sessions fueled when you're doing your hiking, making sure you got plenty of energy, really, really, really valuable. And this may seem like thinking too far in advance, but this is a great thing you can figure out in December. Just have a think about what you are going to eat before and after training. If you're training in the morning and you're like, yeah, I'm going to train first thing in the morning, what type of little snacks can you have as a breakfast before you get going? Have a think about what are you going to eat afterwards. Will you be able to go home and actually sit down and organize a proper breakfast and this and that? Or are you going to have something quick? Do you have to just get a muesli bar or a yogurt or whatever it may be? Have a think about this now and just start testing things out. Buy some of these snacks, see what you like, and have it all sorted. And again, just buy it all, get it in the cupboard and get it done. Alternatively, if you're training at another time of day, if you're training at lunchtime or in the evening or whatever it may be, just have a think about these things. Again, it sounds silly. It sounds like thinking way too far in advance, but I promise you, the more of these little bits and pieces you can just figure out in December, the easier it's going to be in January. And then next up, use December to figure out what you're going to be doing. Don't start January and be like, okay, cool, I want to get fit, I want to start training. What now? Use December when you've got this time. You may not be doing it, but just think about what you're actually going to be doing and when you're going to be fitting it in. Are you planning on getting a gym membership and picking up some gym classes or whatever it may be? Then just go into the gym, as I said before, do the tour, ask them for their timetable for January and just figure out your week. Maybe you'll do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever it may be. Start thinking about that and just get that in your head. Or if you're going to be doing your own training, in December, take the time to sit down and create your own plan. Figure out what you're going to do for your sessions. Figure out what exercises you're going to do. Chart it out and just see if it kind of looks good. On top of that, this is a good thing just to review to make sure you do have all the equipment that you need, whether it's in the gym, whether it's at home, or whatever it may be. Or if you're working with a trainer, as I said before, December's a really good time to chat with people because typically January is just crazy. Have a phone call with them, schedule a consultation, just duck in. You don't need to start in December, but have that conversation. It's just really, really, really useful. And along this theme, it's just anything you can organize in December. Anything you can think ahead, which you can just take those little obstacles, those little hesitations. It's just going to be so valuable because if you do have that New Year's motivation, if you do have that New Year's focus, if you do have that New Year's ambition, you want to make the most of it. Don't let these little silly things get in the way. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap things up here. A little bit of food for thought for anyone looking to get into things in the new year. As I said, not everyone is waiting. A lot of people do start things in December to good effect and full credit and absolutely encourage you to go about do that. For myself, I'm going to be getting back into my routine properly in December and I'm getting back into my gym and back into my sessions and all of that. So I'm looking forward to that. But if you're waiting, put this into action. And the final thing I will sort of say is if you are a hiker and you're looking at 2026 and you're like, yes, I do want to hit the ground running. I want to be doing everything I can to build up to a big trip, or I want to do everything I can to get on top of an acre pain, or you know what, I just want to make 2026 the best year of hiking, whatever it may be. And you are looking for a little bit extra help with your training. As I said, if you want to get started in January, I would love to chat with you in December. Because January is always crazy. January's got so much going on. And I always find if we can chat with people in December when we have more time, we can get you sorted, get you up and running, get you through all your intake stuff and your assessments. So when you actually are ready to roll in January, we can just hit the ground running. So if you were considering that and you're like, hey, I have been thinking about potentially working with Summit Strength, I would love to chat with you. If you want to find out a little bit more about our programs, what you can do is go to summitstrength.com.au/online. On that page, there's a big video which talks through our programs. And as well, if you do want to book that call, there's a link on that page. You can book a call with our team. We can have a little bit of chat about what you got coming up, what you want to be training for, what you need help with, and we can take it from there. So as I said, December is a really, really, really good time to get organized. So if you want to do that, go to summitstrength.com.au/online and we can take it from there. So with that being said, thank you so much for listening. Hope a few people put this into action, and I really do hope it puts sets a few people up for success for the new year.